Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of VCTV. We've got a fun episode for you. I've got some outstanding co-hosts that have joined me from around the world today. Some in studios, some in home, some potentially even in a coffee shop. Who knew? 2021, here we are. Nonetheless, we've got a fun episode for you. Today, we're going to be breaking down what's happening in the digital economy and why this is something to be paying attention to now more than ever, and also what it means for you, either as investors or entrepreneurs. If you're looking to build, you're looking to invest, or trying to figure out which path to focus on, this is the episode to pay attention to here on VCTV. A big thank you to the LATOKEN team and to Maria for making today's episode possible as well. With that, I want to go ahead and introduce my co-host for today. Welcome, everybody. Dave, welcome to the show. A little intro, a little background.
Absolutely. I'm Dave Meltzer, speaker, author, entrepreneur, investor, and part of the digital economy. The digital economy started in 1992 for me when I graduated law school and got involved in the internet itself and understanding how to monetize the internet. And since then, we've seen great evolution and now even revolution with the COVID aspect of accelerated change. So very excited to be here. Happy to answer any questions and look forward to learning from my esteemed colleagues that are up here as well. So thanks for having me.
Wonderful. Thank you for joining us. And to our audience, again, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you say hello from wherever you are in the world. I'll try to give you a shout out. If you've got any questions, drop them in the box. We'll do our best to ask them in real time. Next up, Jean-Paulo. Welcome back to the show. Oh, Jean-Paulo, we may have lost you there for just a moment, so we'll come right back to you. Samit, welcome back to the show as well. A big day in the world of gaming, which I'm excited to get into and how that plays a role into digital economy going forward, but a little introduction and background.
Hi, thank you, Kyle. Good to be back again on VCTV. Hi, my name is Sanmeet Jolia. I'm here in Silicon Valley for the last 20 plus years. I'm an angel investor in 40 technology startups and have spent 2 decades in the technology industry. I'm also the founder and patent holder for Grotu app, grotu.com. Like to invest in artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, robotics, drones, health tech, clean tech. So my investments are spread across the spectrum since 2016 when I started angel investing.
Awesome. Welcome, Jean-Paulo. I believe you're back with us. A little introduction.
Yeah, there was a little glitch. Kyle, thank you for having me. Welcome, everyone. This is Jean-Paulo Parigi, serial entrepreneur, venture capitalist, investor, and advisor, chairman of a single-family office, partner of a private equity group in California, single-family office out in New York, and founder of a technology amalgamator based in the European Union, which is just about to be launched. Amalgamator that will be open to tech companies from around the world, incidentally, and smart city dweller. So very happy to be here today.
Wonderful. Happy to have all of you with us today. I mean, Jean-Paulo, you mentioned a key word at your end of your intro, and that was smart cities. And we've talked a lot here on VCTV about cities becoming more intelligent, with more data, more sensors being implemented throughout the city, that data being leveraged in some way to better the lives of its citizens, and also just the layout of and efficiency of those cities as well, which plays a big role in the digital economy as well. And I would love to hear from each of you your view of how the digital economy has changed going from 2020 now into 2021, looking ahead to the next 5, 10 plus years ahead of us, as we've now got digital goods and merchandise stores releasing. We've got online content that's both tokenized and subscription driven. We've got the internet that's continuing to evolve in new ways as we welcome in Web 3.0 and so much more as well. But I want to turn it over to each of you to get your views. Again, how has the digital economy changed from 2020 into 2021? Dave, let's start with you.
Sure. So, 2020 was a year of reflection and reflecting on 3 different things so important as you look at the smart cities, the digital economy. The first would be the market itself, and reflecting on what efficiencies were in the platform of the market itself, and 2, what inefficiencies were there. And I think in the year of reflection 2020, we found so many different areas that we could improve upon the marketplace itself, and whether it was the last mile, the doorstep itself, or the remote working, whatever aspects of the market we had resistance to. And I know from major corporations to entrepreneurs, we had several, including me, resistant based inefficiencies from the amount of travel we were doing, the amount of people that were traveling, the amount of in-person meetings that were a waste. And then beyond the market itself, looking at the market makers and the fees that were related to those. And we see that, especially in the smart city and the digital economy that was created, that there was so many manipulations of the market by the market makers themselves. And then finally, in the year of reflection 2020, looking at the buy and sell side of things, and where and how we buy and sell things has changed dramatically, especially in the last 12 months in this 2020 year of reflection, moving towards what you asked, 2021, which to me is the year of the decision. You know, those people that will do the best is those who have decided to utilize the capabilities that they have, the skills, the knowledge, and the desire to find where there's synergies, supplementary capabilities that not only will benefit from what's doing well today in this growth and acceleration of the smart cities and the digital economy, but also what will be stable. And we can use and reflect on that and make the decisions accordingly. But I think most importantly, as we have acceleration of change because of the digital economy, because of the smart city, and what that means to a rethinking of all the great institutions, from education to finance to judicial to political, all the great institutions, that we also have to make decisions on what we think will be doing well in the future. So I think reflecting on the market makers, and the buy and sell side, and then making decisions in 2021 for what's going to be doing well, what's stable, and what is doing well in the future.
Thank you very much, Dave. And to come back with a question, a follow-up there. I mean, in the year of the decision and looking ahead, how are you changing how you look and how you operate in this digital economy? I mean, for those that don't know, I mean, definitely check out Dave online. You can learn very quickly what he does. But I mean, Dave, you and I and all four of us here, we're probably traveling a ton, doing a lot both in person and digitally, and exhausting ourselves in different ways. But now with the year of the decision,
how do you take it?
Primarily,
you know, my history in sports. I ran the most notable sports agency in the world, had a global sports marketing company, which completely had to change. And the decisions of those went to esports and gambling, two things that I see are doing well now, are stable, but also are the future, will grow the most. And so instead of dealing with in-person events and focusing primarily in the agentry and marketing side of things, in person at the Super Bowl, Pro Bowl, Masters, Kentucky Derby, Breeders' Cup, award shows, the ESPYs, Emmys, Oscars, Grammys, we've moved to two areas, esports and, of course, gambling, which I see are doing well, stable, and will do well in the future. On the personal branding side, which, you know, I speak around the world, I've written 4 books, I have my own TV shows, movies, etc. You know, my own personal investment has moved to digital marketing from the actual overhead expenses. So traded in my big office building for a studio. I traded in traveling with all my employees for more Zoom and remote content. I have a mix in the TV shows that I do, elevator pitch, 2-minute drill, office hours, have a combination of in studio and virtual. So in the aspect of sports, complete shift in the paradigm. I'm one of the biggest investors in esports. I'm a founding investor in Overactive Media with over $1 billion valuation now, which I never believed would happen. I thought when I invested at 16 million, it was the stupidest investment I ever made. That just goes to show you always listen to your 6-year-old when you're making an investment. Don't listen to what you think you know. But those are the areas that have most changed for me.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. I'm going to come back to you on esports in just a moment, as that's going to play a huge role in the digital economy. For those who did not see earlier today, Genies and Dapper Labs announced a joint marketplace that they're going to be releasing for digital merchandise and goods on avatars, bringing celebrities into that picture. So we're going to come back to that in a moment, David. Jean-Paulo, talk to us a little bit about the same. So the transition of 2020 to 2021 in the digital economy as it looks today.
Well, I mean, that's a complex question. I'll try to summarize, most of what I'm thinking and seeing and believing in that I see in the market. But we are having a parallel digital monetary network, which is Bitcoin, that has come of age and has demonstrated that it will be a largest repository of value, for the entire balance of our life and the life of our children and grandchildren, and will continue. So that's a pivotal moment. Last year it was an inflection point. When we come to, the digital transformation obviously was already in the making. It's going to be only propelled fast forward, accelerated by the trillions of dollars and euros that will be infused in the economy by the Federal Reserve in the United States and the European Central Bank in Europe. And, as a waterfall effect, hopefully there will be, of course, others that will be doing the same in other markets. The combined efforts of those two large economies in the northern part of the world, it's going to be something like 14 trillion over probably the decades, only from direct federal or supranational intervention, which if you begin to think in terms of matchmaking from the private sectors and the quasi-institutional sectors, and the multilateral organization and foreign investors on a ratio of 1-to-1, well, you can do the math and see how much money will be deployed in digital transformation, but not only in healthcare, the environment, and blockchain, artificial intelligence. So those are the four main drivers of growth. Companies are evolving. We said many times around here in LATOKEN, VCTV, and others echoed our beliefs that there's not going to be any company in the world, any manufacturing or service company or agricultural company that is not going to be a technology company, because simply there's no space for them. And when it comes to smart cities, to put these parts of the jigsaw in place, I think the ecosystem is providing us the equivalent of a beauty contest for cities really to compete with each other, as the number of digital nomads has increased over the last few years, but it will skyrocket now that more and more people can decide, opt where to live. It's true, some are going away from urban areas and moving to the countryside to live a more idyllic, lifestyle, and especially those who have and no children or children that have grown up. But I think cities still will be remaining an attractor. Don't forget that more than 50% of the world population to date lives in urban sprawls. And so I think now cities really have to vie with each other in terms of quality of life. I think that's going to be the common denominator. There would be really a driver in decision making by the dwellers, because obviously living in a city, you're probably facing a higher taxation, and you will still have traffic, but it'll have to be traffic that has a lesser impact on your daily life. You have pollution, but it'll have to be decreased. And clean air. What China has decided, recently to try to meet the target of compliance in air pollution 10 years after the rest of us. I think it's a good signal that now really everybody's on the same page, and it's probably already late, if not too late. But nonetheless, we gotta try reaching that target. So cities are really, what the cabling of fiber optic and everything else that the technology is bringing up to the table have to really, on the one hand, they stand a unique chance of attracting more tax base in terms of citizens, but on the other hand, also they stand to lose a lot, maybe more than ever. Those cities that are not going to be benchmarking themselves with the winners, with the leading cities in the world. I'm thinking of a leader like Stockholm in Sweden, and there are benchmarks that are available around the world. And of course, we cannot expect that a city the size of Delhi could behave like Stockholm in 3 days or in 3 years, because this is delusional. But definitely we know what's the forward path. So I think a really city stands a unique chance to attract more customers, and also stands a very difficult challenge that may lose them a lot of aficionados that may move into smaller towns and if not in the countryside. So I think we're going to be at another inflection point. It's going to be actually an inflection period over the course of a few years, in which we will be able to weed out the good from the chaff in urban sprawl and see where it's really good, especially not only for digital nomads, but also for families and corporations alike. Back to you, Kyle.
Thank you, Jean-Paulo. Samit, same to you. The transition from the digital economy from 2020 to 21, and then I want to jump right into gaming, as I think that's going to be a big driver of this as well. But Samit, to you.
Yeah, sure. I'll just give examples, and they'll speak for themselves. These are all my investments that I've made. Heliogen, which is generating heat from sun's energy using artificial intelligence and a field of mirrors. They recently got a contract with Rio Tinto for a mine in California, where they will be replacing fossil fuels with sun's heat, so clean energy generation, solving the heat problem of it, not just the solar panels and electricity generation, but actual burning of fossil fuels that is done in industrial processes. So replacing that with sunlight, and it's the Bill Gates backed company. Check out heliogen.com. Second example, we have invested in a company called SwiftMile. They are solving the last mile transportation problem. So last mile transportation, if you look at San Francisco, people just throw away their scooters after use, and our pavements are all full of scooters lying here and there. That's not what a smart city should be like. So what SwiftMile is doing is they have these docking stations which are solar powered, and they you can smartly go and dock any scooter, and it'll charge using renewable power, as well as that acts as a advertising display for the city or anybody who wants to advertise. Multiple business models have come in organizing this scooter leaving anywhere on the pavement problem. So check out SwiftMile. They're doing very well. Nightscope security robots. These are fully autonomous machines. Another one of my investment from the last several years. They've raised almost close to $100 million now, just from crowd and a few corporations and a few VCs put together. And they have these security robots patrolling malls, casinos, hospitals, federal facilities, banks, all over the United States. And that is a good example where 5G will play a very big role, because the amount of data these robots capture using 360-degree 24/7 operations, high definition cameras, and the data that they capture to reduce crime, to deter, detect, and report crime, that is enormous. And 5G will play a very important role along with artificial intelligence, because these are self-driving machines. They drive themselves, so they have to see a lot, they have to detect a lot, they have to prevent collisions. And so artificial intelligence, machine learning is being applied there. And fourth example is Grotto.com itself. Grotto is the app which we are building for friends and family private social networking. We are organizing the massive data overload that is happening on chat apps by building modules which are more intelligent than just the linear movement of chat data and media files. So these are planning tools that go along with chat, which help you do group travel, group events planning, expenses, photo sharing in cloud, and many of those tools. And specifically because smart cities came into this discussion, I have recently filed a patent for a tool that I want to build in Grotto, which we'll start working on, which will allow anybody to timeshare, and any group of people can share a resource using a central calendaring system. So talk about swimming pools and capacity restrictions post-COVID, in how many people can use a swimming pool for a certain time, basketball courts, volleyball courts, parking lot sharing for events. Many crowded places in downtown only allow one parking lot per resident. But when you have a party, you need 10 parking lots. So how do neighbors share, stuff? So we will be building that system. I have a new patent filed for that. And so a shared economy, we've seen Uber and Airbnb succeed for specific use cases. But there's so much other things that we can share with other people. A central system for that, which is more intelligent than chat. As we have spoken, that Grotu is always looking at the 100 billion messages a day passing through WhatsApp and growing. How we can organize that into buckets and reduce the load on that system.
Well, WhatsApp's just one. Samit, WhatsApp's just one. I mean, look at the amount of activity on Discord right now and Telegram. I mean, Discord, people are moving away from organizations and teams and communities have moved away from Slack and some other general tools into Discord. Now you're talking about a whole new world, which leads us into that next topic about gaming. I mean, Discord has become the main driver for communities around gaming, esports, and also the decentralized community as well as we look towards Web3. And would love to hear a little bit of how you all think, and Dave, I want to start with you as I know your time is short today and we appreciate it, how do you see esports and gaming playing such an impactful role in the future digital economy, both today, and in the near future? We've got digital skins, we've got these new marketplaces, we've got so much happening, including on and off ramps in between games we hadn't yet thought of before. So what are you seeing around esports and gaming as a whole?
Well, in 4 aspects, I think you have to look at esports. Is number one, the capture of the sport itself. And within the realm of capture, that not only is it a collaborative environment with creative content, but it also is a methodology, a platform to collaborate on real-time types of content. So within the context of gaming and esports, the live viewing of, a Thursday night football game on Twitch with an influencer may have more people participating than actually watching the game in person or on TV or other platforms. That's already happening today. So looking how we're capturing content and collaborating with it, then the modification of content and the monetization in that modification. So licensing, skins, all these areas that relate directly to this virtual digital economy. I think in 2020, I spent far more on skins than I did on clothes for my kids in a virtual format. There's an entire economy around the modification and the monetization in that customization of gaming and esports. Then look at the amplification. The amplification occurs outside and bigger than most businesses and almost every sport, that it applies to everyone. I call it the great equalizer. Gaming and esports does not have anything to do with how tall, how small, how physically talented you are. You don't have to have legs. You can be any color, any culture, and be able to participate not only in playing, but in collaborating and viewing and playing. And so, the culture of being able to be a fan and participant at the same time has never been available, and now is within the context of gaming and esports. And then really interesting is the last point is perpetuation. So, looking at NFTs, especially in the world of collectibles, which is always a big part of sports, the perpetuation of gaming and esports, the historical binging and perpetuation and monetization in what has already been created or repurposed. Guys like Tommy Tallarico are bringing back in television, in bringing back a family type of gaming that will align with a culture that we may want in the future. As we have gone through that year of reflection, more and more people value family dinners, spending time with the family, being at home. Esports and gaming doesn't necessarily mean that we're just participating and collaborating around the world, but it also can strengthen our most intimate and relative relationships, which then brings an entirely different economy to the forefront. And I think you'll see that as well. So where I'm looking is, how are we capturing the content? Because for me, sports gaming has always just been about content. How are we collaborating with it? Then also, how do we modify it and monetize it through skins and virtual worlds in a variety of different ways? Then how do we amplify it as well, with an incredible distribution to the biggest mass of people ever created? The way that I got involved in esports, I was actually on my way to the championship game between the Cleveland Cavaliers with LeBron James at the time and Steph Curry's Golden State Warriors in Game 7. And my 6-year-old looked at me and told me that they sold out Oracle Arena for the League of Legends Championship. And I looked at him and I said, nobody, they only do that online. You know, esports is online. Nobody's watching in person. And my head of media, who was in his 20s, looked at me and said, no, Dave, you may think you're the master of sports. You may think you're the legacy and legend of sports agentry and marketing. You don't know what you're talking about, because it sold out. And that was years ago. Beyond more people watched that League of Legends championship than watched Game 7 of the NBA championship. That was years ago. So you can imagine where we are today, and even more importantly, imagine with capture, modify, amplify, and perpetuate, where we'll be in the future.
Couldn't agree more, Dave. And I know you have to run, so real quick shout out. Where can everyone find you if they'd like to connect afterwards to discuss today's topic and others?
I personally answer everyone. So I give my personal email. It's very easy. It's david@dmeltzer.com. I'm the old man of the internet, so you Google me. Instagram's huge. I have a big following, so @David Meltzer. Google David Meltzer, but David@dmeltzer. I also send my books, guides, exercises, and free trainings. Over 20 years, I've been doing this for free every Friday. So please reach out to me. I'm most of all, and most importantly, I want to thank my esteemed colleagues. What great education. I come here, believe it or not, to learn. I believe in being more interested than interesting. So I appreciate, I will make millions off of you two for the advice that you've given me and the perspective. So I really appreciate your wisdom. But most importantly, everyone, be kind to your future self, do good deeds, and you'll end up fine. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, David. Take care. Have a wonderful day. And also, as we continue on, Samit, I want to come to you next. Anything else to add on to gaming, but also big advice that you have for those looking to build and or invest in this next wave of the digital economy here as we start to transition, and you play on both sides of that table?
Yes. So gaming is, taking a lot of data now. If you look at virtual reality, so I play table tennis 11 on Oculus, and we are live chatting with other people while we are playing with anybody else in the world. So fast streaming, with 5G and better Wi-Fi connections, we are going to have more this use case of playing with anybody in the world while chatting with them, and then recording your game, especially when you are doing well and crossing. So I have reached 90 level or 100 on table tennis 11 and in the top 2000 in the world now. And so I like to record those clips when I always move to the next level. So I recorded 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, and now 90 level cross. Now I'm trying to beat the 100 level for computer. So recording that clip and then sharing on social media where you have forums. So you talk about Discord. Discord has gaming forums. People talk about games. People share their recorded videos of them playing games. And then esports tournaments. My son took me to Intel Extreme Masters in Oracle Arena a couple of years ago, where I first time tried Oculus, and that's what led me to the VR investments. I have two VR gaming company investments. One is Virtrix, another is Virzoom. Virzoom ties to a cycle, and also you can find it on Oculus Store. This is basically merging the fitness with gaming. So don't get bored while you are exercising. You put on your virtual headset and start exercising within the game itself, and the game will keep you engaged, and you would have burned a lot of calories by the end of the session. Same with Virtuix. Virtuix has this lot of patents on this treadmill where you can run inside VR and shoot the zombies or whatever you do in a Call of Duty. But instead of sitting on a couch and pressing buttons, you are actually running because it's an enclosure. It's a treadmill that encloses you, and then you can run in 360 degrees, jump, crouch, do whatever. You are inside the game, and you're burning calories while you're playing the game. Great use case. But all of this is because of digital economy, because of high-speed internet. You're fighting in three-dimensional. There's a lot of video stream data that is needed to do VR live with another person around the world, across the world, in a real-time gaming system. So that is all because of digitalization, and we'll see more and more using Wi-Fi.
Oh, thank you very much.
Aspect we discussed that too.
Yeah, very much. Thank you, Samit. And Samit, there may be some connectivity issues. So a quick shout out. Where can everyone find you online in case we lose you here in the next minutes as we close out? Where can everyone find you online?
LinkedIn is the best way. Sanmeet Jolly. I try to respond to all my direct messages, even though sometimes they're delayed by a week or so. But I try to clear them off within a week. So.
Wonderful. All right, Jean-Paulo, same question.
You can also contact me through Blotto.com.
Thank you, Samit. So audience, pay attention. Check out Samit on LinkedIn or grow2.com as well. And Jean-Paulo, I want to come to you next. I mean, you talked about smart cities. You talked about AI. You talked about blockchain. A lot of good, exciting trends and innovations that are coming into our world more than ever here in 2021. Of those, what do you, maybe a few, do you advise those that are looking to build or invest into the smart cities or even into the digital economy that they should really focus on over these next 5 years of building and development we're all going into?
Oh, yes. Well, I mean, it's a massive a bundle of sectors combined with one another, and as I say, I mean, there's an amplitude and multitude of choices and selections. I mean, the old fundamental supply, obviously, I try to stick with something that you like, not something that you know. A lot of people erroneously think, I should stick to something I don't know. If you stick to something you know, you never evolve. I mean, and the evolution is intimately linked to, a trial and error process. That's why we advance the human race. That's why we get better individuals, and that's why we create better companies. So never be afraid of failure. Of course, I mean, when it comes to investing, you have to be prudent, cautious, and reasonable. And I say stick to something that you like. And if you don't know it, find someone that could help you explaining, training into those aspects or those components that you don't know, or simply trust maybe your partners or your advisor that know more than you do in that sector, and go along if you like it, if your heart is into it. And of course, it's not only just emotional, it has also to be combined with, I would say, analysis of statistical data. Today, we have a plethora of statistics that are quite useful, and especially those that have been created with acumen, because not all data are created equal. So I mean, you have to be able also to filter in that realm. But I think that there are incredible opportunities all over in every geography and at every size of maturity of a company and every company size. Really, I could not say that there's one area more than another. I mean, for example, I like, a few drivers that are connected to good water quality supply, energy, urban city quality of life, and healthcare again. So I like to invest logistics, because infrastructure and logistics are the primer for an economy to grow. And I like to invest along those very huge silos. But again, I follow my heart in this, and I develop portfolio knowledge on those and experiences, but some I knew before, some I created them in as I went by. But I always did what I liked the best, and I think that's the best recipe for success coming back to esport and gaming. I mean, I definitely think that sector will continue to grow geometrically, if not exponentially. Although, I mean, I load 10K on actual physical sport every morning, so I'm not going to do that on esport. I'm going to do that in actual sport with actual sweat, blood, and tears in the morning when it's below zero to when it's to plus 40. And I'm fine with that. But I think, the esports will continue to grow. Obviously, it will be like a heart in moments where, like we had COVID and a lot of people were locked down in their homes. Obviously, there's a spike of activity, there's a surge in the activity. When the lockdown will be eased and completely finished, I believe that there will be a contraction. We're already seeing a certain contraction in the numbers and the figures that are posted by the gaming industry, e-gaming, and sporting. But I think, again, it's overall post for growth, definitely pointing northeast. And, we'll have also acceleration in that arena as well, if you like to invest in that. So I think, it's a beautiful moment to be an investor, but, the variety of options sometimes are mind-boggling and require a lot of discipline and a lot of, self-restraint to make sure that you place only those bets that are good for you. And I'm Jean-Paulo Parigi. You can reach me here at LATOKEN VCTV on LinkedIn, Twitter, major social media. Or you can find me also my personal email address at gianpaoloparigi1@gmail.com. And with that, back to you, Kyle, and thank you everyone for being here with us tonight.
Thank you very much, Jean-Paulo and Samit, and again to David as well. Really appreciate the thoughts and the insights. The digital economy is incredibly exciting. We had predictions last year around this time that the virtual and digital economy of 2021 would be $100 billion. It looks like we are going to surpass that figure well above predictions this year, as we're already only 4 months in and seeing billions of dollars transacted just now as well. With that being said, to our audience, thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you do reach out to Samit, Jean-Paulo, and to David, along with myself. We'd love to hear from you. Please add context, where you heard us, where you met us, and what you would like to continue the conversation about. A big thank you to the LATOKEN team and to Maria for making today's episode possible. Check us out on LATOKEN.com to hear from today's speakers and all speakers of the VCTV family of investors from around the world. With that, we'll be taking a short break, and we'll see you back here tomorrow with more VCTV. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.